There we are.
All right. Let me adjust this. That's cool.
We have a green screen.
Green and red. What's funny is that the last interview I did, I'm writing the subtitles now. I had a green T-shirt and the other guy had a red T-shirt. So there seems to be something with red and green going on.
Yeah,
So cool. I'm
sure.
very happy to have you here. I kind of explained a bit what I had in mind for this call. I basically want to have some kind of a circling discussion around depression and suicide, which is one of my focus right now, something that has been really with me for years. And I just want to open that discussion for it not to be weird to talk about it, you know?
Sure.
And well, we met through circling, and I remember that we had a slight discussion on that there. And I also saw this video that you made on getting out of a funk, as
Yeah.
in your YouTube channel, which I'm an absolute fan of, by the way. And
Thank you.
that's why I thought that would be an interesting discussion to have with you, to know basically your experience of depression and potentially suicidal thoughts. What has been going through your mind earlier? What is going through your mind now around that? And I was thinking maybe you can start by telling a bit of your story around that.
Sure. Um, what first comes to mind is that I never, uh, in terms of this suicide thing, I never like have suicidal thoughts at all. Actually, well, I've had fantasies like not fantasies, but um, what would it be like to be jumping out of a building or something like that kind of thoughts, but not like seriously considering it.
Mm.
Um, and as far as depression goes, I think it's the thing is I've delved into the use of labels lately, and I believe that depression can be a bit too easy to just say that I'm depressed or he's having a depression or whatever. I believe there's something deeper than that, and it might be a bit stigmatized in my view. I think the word depression, and um, but when you asked if I was going to tell my background story of just in terms of that or how I got here.
Yeah, your experience of going through moments, which, and I agree with that idea of a label. I actually thought about it quite recently. I was thinking, what does that even mean to be depressed? You know, but
Yeah.
like I noticed that I was starting to, because there was no discussion around it, I was starting to think that I was sick. You know, that there was an actual sickness that was
Hmm.
depression, and that made it worse for me to think, oh, I've got, it's like having cancer. It's, oh, I've got this for my whole life. I've got this sickness, depression, and it's even potentially
Yeah.
genetic. Oh shit, I'm doomed, you know? And
Yeah.
I notice an opening in me when I think that is just not true, that this sickness exists and that there are different emotional states that when I don't experience them or don't want to look at them, it becomes a problem.
Yes. Yeah. What you're saying that resonates with me in terms of that. Um, the times that I've been feeling depressed, um, there's been lack of willingness on some level, unconsciously or consciously, to look at something that's uncomfortable. Um, and willingness might be the wrong word, because it's not always about will. It's about how aware are you of the things that are trying to tell you something, because I believe that's what depression is. Basically, a signpost for inner growth, maybe. That's just my view, and yeah.
And if you look at it now, if you look back at it, can you tell what those depression times were telling you about your growth?
Uh, I can't like pinpoint one exact episode, but what seems to be the recurring theme is that it tends to happen if I'm starting to get way out of alignment with what is truth, true to myself. That basically I'm taking on a mask, or I'm going in a direction that deep down I might feel that's not true to me, but I'm doing it anyway because of like an idea, or what I feel is expected of me socially and from society, maybe. Um, that's just one of the aspects. Um, hmm. Things are pretty surreal for me nowadays. It's quite surreal right now. uh,
What's present for you these days?
it weaves into what I talked about, going in directions which doesn't feel true. I've been doing that over and over and over again, and I feel a bit um, scattered and maybe a bit lost, as I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm going to go, except just following what feels true. And um, it's difficult to relate to that in myself, because there's a part of me that wants to get the show on the road, and then there's the other part that just wants to take the time. And then you have the requirements of society in terms of work and money. Gotta have food on the table, and so it's a bit. I'm a bit in that right now, and in that it might come up like depressing episodes, but I would call them. There's a sense of hopelessness. There's not so many thoughts of sentences. It's more like underlying feelings. Although there might be sentences that go so fast that I don't pick them up. There are some patterns.
What do they feel like, those feelings? What, if you could describe them?
Mm. It's a bit heavy. It's like what's the word? Wanting to not give up, but I can't find a word. It's a mixture of giving up and surrender. Surrendering in terms of just, ah, uh, it's difficult to find words. I don't know if this makes any sense at all.
I like the idea of like this is passages of hopelessness. It feels easier to handle because it's like, okay, so how can I create hope? Instead of I'm depressed, it's like, okay, what do I do? If it's hopelessness, it feels easier. Okay, where can I create an opening? Where can I open a door? Where can I define a future that seems more compelling and that I can reach? It feels actually easier to handle. It's like I'm working a lot with, I'm doing dating coaching and I'm working a lot with approach anxiety. And I've got people telling me I'm scared of talking to a girl. And I say it's not true. This is what you call approach anxiety, but it's not one thing. It's many small things. It's fear of being rejected, fear of not knowing what to say, fear of what people around are going to think, etc., etc. And I'm wondering, with your idea of hopelessness, if depression is not kind of the same thing, like a composite of many smaller things that, if taken separately, are maybe easier to grasp or handle. What would be your
Yeah,
view of that?
that feels a bit like an easier approach, because when you pack it all into this big ball, it's tends to get a little overwhelming.
Mm.
I was smiling when you talked about approach anxiety and all that kind of stuff, because I think that's what got me into this game, wanting to be able to pick up women.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I don't know. I like to talk about that, but I'm not sure if that's the theme of this. I think it weaves in a bit. For a long time, I think that my sense of happiness and joy would come from having a woman in my life, a girlfriend, or like I didn't intellectually think about it, but like that was what I was. That was the most important thing. Like if I just had that, anything else didn't matter. That kind of feeling. On the opposite, or not the opposite, but that could also come in the way of if I was rejected or went through a breakup or something, nothing mattered. The only thing that mattered was getting that woman back. Like my life depended on it. It can be that extreme. And it's part of the same approach, anxiety, fear of rejection, and all that. But I come far enough to know that it's emotional patterns that comes up. I'm reading a book now from a guy called Matt Kahn. I don't know if you know the guy, but he's saying, like, tons of other spiritual says that these reactions that are coming up in you is just the universe telling you that there's healing to be done here. And I'm learning more and more to just stay with the sensation that comes up. And it's basically the nervous system just taking over. So the whole world change. And I believe that's what's happening when people get approach anxiety. There's a trigger happening, and the whole world changes, and women in particular become hostile almost. You want them, you have the sense that they can just kill you off or leave you or whatever. And for the grown up, it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's no danger here, really. And even if you think there's social uh, acceptance on the line, I believe that's also more about how you would feel about being socially rejected than actually being socially rejected.
Seems to be recurring for you, this idea of social rejection. Like you talked a bit about it earlier, like it
Yeah.
influencing the line that you take, direction that you.
Um, for a long time, it's been quite scary for me to say my opinions or speak out in front of others, especially women. I remember there was this girl that I liked in high school. She liked REM. Then I had to like REM myself. So I made myself like REM, even though I didn't listen to it. Because if I didn't, if I said I was liking something else, that could mean being rejected. It's funny how that works. It's way less now. I mean, I'm in an interview speaking out. I'm sharing stuff on Facebook that might or might not be socially acceptable. So yeah, it's been a recurring theme for me for many years.
I'm curious about that. Now that you share, you changed the name of your YouTube channel to Truth of Nico, and you share one truth every day. And
Yeah.
I'm just curious about how that feels for you to just be sharing truths, your truths, and exposing yourself that way.
Part of me was thinking that changing the name, just putting that out there, would make it easier. But it
Did it?
doesn't. No. Uh, it still comes like when I hit record, I get this, oh, I have to perform now. I have to be over the top, energetic. I have to smile. I have to be funny, because that's in my like story. That's it's like my system that picked up that that's how you get people to laugh or to like you. So that's how I have to act. But it's not always like that. That I feel like being over the top. Um, I forgot your question.
My question was just what does that feel? How does that feel? Sorry, to be sharing truth, to expose your inner truth to people.
Yeah. It's quite vulnerable. Um, and also, I've been a bit out of practice from circling and social stuff for quite a while. And hmm, I'm not sure how to answer that actually, how it feels. It's like it feels good in the moment when I do it, but afterwards it can feel like, I mean, doesn't even matter. Does it even matter? Is it why am I sharing this? And I think um, I think one of the reasons that thought might come up is that it's a lack of response. I mean, I have a quite small channel. It's only 25 subscribers, and it takes a while for people to comment and whatever. So if you like compare it to sharing the truth in like circling in a group, you get instant feedback on some level. Um, so I guess it's your head is less likely to intervene when in like this um, in the moment connection with others rather than just speaking one way.
And I'm curious about how that influences you, that there is only 25 subscribers as opposed to if there were, I don't know, 1,000. Would that give you more desire to express, or how would that change?
I don't know. A part of me thinks that it would give me getting feedback would give me a refreshed drive to share more, because then I know that, oh, people are actually enjoying it or appreciating it, and I'm getting the feeling that I'm helping somehow. But then there's the other part that feels I'm not quite sure if this is actually the path I'm supposed to go on, but I'm like doing it anyway to find out. But it's a tough uh, spot, because that's what I've done that quite many times in my life, starting something, thinking I want that, and then I'm finding out that, oh no, it's not. And then I have some shame around that. What are people going to think if I've started this and ended it, I've started that and ended it and then finished? What will people think? There's the social acceptance thing again. Um,
Yeah, it can feel heavy. I feel like I have, I have two channels. I have my channel on dating, which is my business basically, and another channel which is the one we're doing the video for, and I have a website going together with it. And anytime I go in the direction of, what would people want? How will that make them feel to see that, etc.? I feel like shit and I don't want to do it anymore. And
mm,
anytime I'm thinking, what do I want to share?
yeah.
What kind of discussion do I want to have? And really connect to just the desire for me behind it. Then I want to
Mm,
shoot 10 interviews and throughout articles. Same, I had articles that I didn't publish because I was scared of what would people think, especially them thinking I'm crazy. And as soon as I forget about them and start thinking, what do I want to share? It's like easy to publish them. I'm like, fuck it,
mm,
it's great. I think it's great. I think having that kind of discussion is great. And
yeah.
yeah, when I disconnect from the reaction of others, I just want to share it. I just want to have that discussion. I just want to share it. And
Mm,
it's like I have no real interpretation of it, but I just feel that for me, it kills my drive to think about how they will react. I remember for my dating channel, I tried at some point to do like ask your questions and I'd shoot a video about it. And there were questions I was interested in and that was cool. And there were questions I had really no desire to answer, but I was doing it anyway because they were asking the questions. And that made
mm,
me want to stop altogether shooting videos. I was like disgusted of it. I hated it.
Mm. I get lighter as you speak about this, actually, because it's like reminding myself of something I already know. But I tend to get lost in that other part you're speaking about,
Mm.
that you're adjusting to what you think other people might like, basically. And yeah, that's heavy.
And I'm thinking in a social context too. I'm
Yes.
experiencing these days of just shooting stuff at people. Like there's talking to people and there's talking at people. And these days, I'm talking at people more than talking to, just to feel it. To just like throw stuff at and just see how it feels, and it feels great. Not too great when
Yes.
I'm doing it too much and there is no connection because I just shoot stuff at them. But the first dynamic is great. And then when I go into listening mode, I just I'm there. I'm more present than if I'm trying to repress everything that's in me.
Yes. And this goes directly into the dating and women thing. I noticed in myself the times where I've felt, oh, fuck it, I'm free to just say what's on my mind and heart. That's the most inspiring and joyous moments. And I'm able to just speak my truth. But it's like it bleeds over in all parts of life, I think.
I'm wondering how much this speaking your truth is actually deeply connected to feelings of depressions or happiness. Like speaking your truth just to speak your truth.
Yeah. I like that you asked that question. Because I feel there's something panicky about it, to be honest. Um, by panicky, I mean, um, I'm just going to go with panicky because I'm a lack of better words right now. But I don't think I could label it as one or the other from what you said. I think it's, but if it actually feels a bit heavy. I've been feeling into that now the past couple of days. I had this idea that if I'm going to do this I don't know, you're probably going to share this video. So I'm going to say, I made this video about me sharing my truth for 50 days. And I haven't feel very inspired, actually, except from when I first started and the days leading up to me starting. And it's a bit annoying because I have this thing, this is going to be awesome. Whoo! And then I start.
And where does that shift? What created the shift from enthusiasm to nah?
I think I involuntarily put a lot of pressure on myself. And I think it has to do with something to do with my situation right now. I'm on welfare at the moment, and I'm in the process of trying to find a job that I can enjoy. And there's this part of me that knows on some level that I'm supposed to start my own thing in the long run. And I think I'm thinking about that a little too early, maybe. Like I have thoughts of maybe this is going to generate my income, these 50 days. Maybe that will inspire, and then people will come and crowdfund me. um, yeah, I'm thinking putting a lot of pressure on myself, I think. It feels very good to say out loud.
Yeah, if you're really connected to that and actually clear about how much this pressure of money, of having to make money, has just slowed me down actually. I understand that some
Mm.
people, I'm thinking of, like the Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone of this world, are motivated by having to make money. It has not happened at all for me. It's like the complete opposite. Anytime I think, oh, how am I gonna make money with it? I need to make that much money with it. I just don't even want to do it. And when I
Mm.
focus on just what do I want to express, I express myself, people respond better. I do have to ask, like, oh, and there is this program I'm making, but it's like 96% of the video, I'm doing it with what do I want to share mood. And the last 4%, I'm like, oh, there's this program, you can subscribe there, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And just really, these days, I'm experiencing a lot more with what am I feeling, where do I feeling it, and it's getting really clear to me that expressing for the sake of expression feels good. Expressing for money doesn't.
Yep.
And, you know, did I make money now? Did I make money now? Did I make money now? And it's like it
Mm.
just stops everything for me.
Yeah.
I understand there is a middle ground to be found here, but I'm watching a lot of Jim Carrey videos these days, and you can see that with his paintings, he was just full on expression, 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 expression. And now there were thousands, but he didn't plan it that way. He didn't even care and still doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's just they end up, obviously, if you paint, the painting is going to be worth something. So you know from the start. But by just being full on expression, it just feels good. And I notice that when I
Yeah.
feel good, I do better work. You know?
Makes total sense.
And I've been shooting it. It's I think the fourth interview that I've been shooting, or fifth if you count Dan Millman. And almost every time, if not every time, the idea of non-expression equals pain comes forth. And expression, although it can generate those rough, turbulent feelings, feels just better in the middle run and long run. That's also why I'm personally enthusiastic about your 50 days of truth, because I just don't dare to do it, you know?
Mm.
And when I see you doing it, I'm like, Yeah, I know that it would feel hard and yet better for me if I engaged in a 50 days of truth of some sorts.
Yeah.
And yet, if I had to make money at the end of the 50 days, I would be in trouble. I would be like, shit, what do I need to do so that it makes money at the end? And I wouldn't want to do it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, throughout this conversation, I've basically thrown that idea out the window. Or my intention is, because I know it's going to come back a bit, but feels better to just be. But yeah, that's a part of the challenge. To try and not care so much about what the outcome is going to be, financially or socially or whatever.
And it feels freeing for me when I watch your videos. And I remember we were watching a few with Alexis the other day, and we were just laughing out loud because it looks crazy. Watch them, it looks like this guy is out there. This guy is going crazy, and it just feels so freeing. Like, hey, if he can do it,
Mm.
why can't I do it? To show
Yeah.
myself as crazy, you know? And I noticed that by watching you do it, it inspires me to be like, yeah, maybe I'm crazy, I don't even know. But here it is. Here is me. And deal with it, you know?
Yeah, and that that end sentence you said, that they deal with it, that comes so much easier from when I've recorded a video when I'm actually energized and just having fun. But it does not come when in the more low key videos.
How is it different for you? What happens?
It gives me more energy to record those videos when I'm just doing something, or when I feel inspired, basically. I usually don't feel that much inspired when I talk about the serious stuff, to be honest. Which is basically, or which may be a sign or whatever. uh,
Do you know where your inspiration comes from? If you look back at those crazy videos of yours, what triggers them?
music triggers it often. And I've since I was a child, I've always been kind of quirky, kind of, um, and spontaneous in my body language. I don't know the term for it in English, but this thing, uh, which may or may not be inspired by Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura. When I was a child, I loved. I always followed Jim Carrey, so it's cool that you mentioned him. Also, the absurdity of the world also inspires me, but can also trigger me. And it triggers me when I see obvious things that doesn't feel right with the world, but I can't really express it, and I get angry. But when I'm inspired, it's more like we do so much ridiculous stuff. But more what I'm thinking now is that I want to ask myself that question quite often now forward. What really inspires me, and be totally honest with it. Mm. Laughter also. Or maybe getting people to laugh, maybe. But then that might be about getting something again. So I'm noticing myself going from inspiration and down to a little bit more contracted space. Noticed several times in this interview. And I'm a bit more in the contraction nowadays than the inspiration. So it's, yeah.
And how does that feel when you're inspired or contracted? What's the difference in terms of feelings or sensations?
Um, See my chest, solar plexus. There's fear that comes up when I'm in the contracted space. When I'm inspired, I don't pay much attention to it at all. And it's like those two things have always been there. But as the years have gone by, you see, this is the contracted space and this is the inspirational stage or level. In the years that have gone by, in this space, there has been built up a lot of noise, which making it, I haven't seen this part so clearly, and not even this, more like unconsciously. And now there's not much noise left, which feels that this is more available, and also this is more available, but it's, I don't know if that makes sense. In the contracted space, there's a lot, it's like outward pressure in my chest area around the solar plexus. Which I would like to go on a workshop right now and just get it out.
How would you?
Oh, sorry. It's my mindfulness bell.
Time is it, by the way? I have no idea.
Sorry?
Does it say the sign here?
10:46.
Let's see how. I was thinking right now while you were speaking. I have right now no idea where we're going. And I noticed that tension in me, like, oh, but maybe I should be going somewhere because, if this is a show about this or that, I should be talking about this or that. And that feels pressurizing for me. And then there was this voice saying, how do you feel just being with him? That feels good, so fuck it. And yeah, I just, in my head, I'm thinking, I just want to do what feels good, what feels right in this interview. And if people don't resonate with it, I just don't want to care. And I know that
Mm.
there are the two parts in me, and I feel like I can choose more now that I'm conscious of it. Right now, during that moment of silence, I chose, fuck it. I'm staying with this because it just feels right, it feels good. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. If they love it, they love it. But
Mm.
I'm able to do this because I make money with my other business. And I don't want to give like a hypocritical image of, oh, just everybody should do what they think feels right if they don't make money. Because if right now I needed money, I would be shit. I would be, lost. And I feel like, yeah,
I'm just putting a hand up to signalize that you spoke to what I'm feeling.
yeah, yeah. I'm thinking if right now I did not make money, I would just pick any random job just to take that off me so that I can keep creating what I want to create. And at the time, I was just scared of doing it. Just taking any random job and thinking I'm gonna go with what feels right. Today, I don't know if it's because I'm already making the money, not crazy money, but enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, I I definitely want to put out that making money there allows me to stay with whatever feels true here. And I wish the two would meet. And if they do, that's awesome. And if they don't, that's okay.
Mm.
And I'm referring to that because it's part of what makes me feel good today. Having sorted out the financial stuff
Mm.
just is relieving. Oh, you shouldn't care about money. Uh, yeah, but I do. And having sorted that out just frees me to create whatever the fuck I want on this channel. And even in my other business, I'm actually uh, quite free. It's just that I pick subjects that I'm sure, or I'm like for at least 60% of my videos, I pick subjects that I know people are going to be interested in. So there is a bit of constraint, but in it, like I choose the title that they will want, and in it, I do what I want. And I notice, yeah, it's like I noticed that sorting out that financial stuff allows me to free my creative process, which in turns is good.
Mm. Mm.
I'm being kind of lost as I say it. It feels like I don't care, but
Makes sense.
yeah,
And as you say that, some of my blockages around work kind of dissolves a bit because I um, create this idea that I don't want a regular job, and I'm more or less identified with that idea. But now, when you speak about it the way you speak about it, I feel more willing to take care of that financial stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with us rebels. Like sometimes we get an idea and we don't want to let go of it. And I
Yeah,
definitely feel you. I was like, I'm not gonna go back to a regular job. I'm gonna live of my passion, blah blah blah. And it happened that it just worked right at the right time. But if it didn't, I would have picked a regular job. And I have one friend actually who is on the YouTube journey at the beginning of it and just picked some kind of a bartending job. And I I was scared of doing it at the time. I thought, oh, but what if people see me? What are they gonna think that I failed? And that prevented me from going there. But when I see him doing it, I'm like, that's awesome. He's meeting so much people, and he's
yeah,
making enough money so that he just doesn't care and can keep doing uh, what he's up to on his YouTube journey. And he offers himself patience, basically.
wow, I like that. Offer yourself patience, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I I attended a. I know we were ending soon, but I attended a 10-day silent retreat this summer
Hmm.
with Muji. I don't know if you know the guy.
Yeah. How was it for you? I mean.
Well, I did the online version because if you were to be there physically, you have to have attended one retreat earlier, which I hadn't. But you can join online. So I shut off my computer, put my plane into phone mode, if you know what I mean,
Mhm.
the other way around. Um, and I was laughing. That's why I said whatever patience is, because after those 10 days, it was like my whole identity was just out there, and the whole matrix of my own mind just became so clear. Oh, so that's what personality is, just a bunch of stories. And yeah, it was quite challenging while being in the retreat, but I'm seeing the world in a quite a different way in terms of attaching meaning to things. That's why I was laughing, whatever patience is. If you're patient, is there something that, is there a need for a world like patience? I don't know, this is philosophical land. Yeah. Hmm. I really enjoyed this. It felt good to connect.
Yeah, me too. And to me, it felt really good to talk about getting rid of expectations and actually doing it while talking about it. To just be like, this is what I want to be doing. And if you like it, I mean, you, the audience, great. If you don't, sorry. And that's it,
Yeah.
It's just, I want to be creating spaces to explore those feelings, and that's it. It feels good, and you definitely inspired me with your YouTube channel to just project the real me and to be in a fuck it mode. And I just
Thank you.
want to be doing that more. So that's why I keep watching your videos, yeah. Some of which I watched 10 times. Especially the YouTube Spirit one.
Oh, that took a long time to make. I'm probably not gonna make one of those in a while. I mean, it was fun in the moment, but there was a lot of people will think this is awesome in there. It was a lot of pressure involved, perfectionism, and yeah.
It is perfect. To me,
Uh,
it is just genius. And it feels freeing.
mm,
I wouldn't be able to go that far out today, but I so want to. I so
yeah,
want to. Like today, I don't
mm,
have the energy to do the kind of editing that you did there, but
yeah.
I just it's the expression that I love. You know, the
Mm.
take this in your face. I just I just love it. It feels freeing to me.
Yeah, I remember that feeling of just going with the expression of the whole package. Even though I had my own underlying motives. It's cool to hear that you liked it. But yeah, it takes a lot of energy making 3 minutes of weirdness.
Yeah,
I mean, I have the technical knowledge to do all those things. I edited the whole thing myself and made the music, and it takes more time than I'd like it to be. I wish I could just make a song in an hour, but well, yeah, you know,
you also did the music, the whole music.
yeah.
Really? Damn, that music looks so awesome.
Uh, yeah, I had a year and a half where I intensely decided that I was going to be a superstar DJ, and I made music every day for a year, and it burned me out. But I got the knowledge or the experience of knowing how to make music. So
Wow, that's crazy. I would so well. I love that video 10 times more than I now that I know that you also made music. And I
yeah,
have a like a controller, DJ controller, and I feel like I want to be manipulating sounds and playing with sounds, but I have no skill, well, barely
hmm,
any skill, and it feels frustrating because in my mind, I'm like I would want to play with it, and I'm inspired, and I take out the thing and I start putting it on, and then I just can't do shit with it, you know. It's like I
yeah,
would want when I watch Jim Carrey painting, I would want to just buy a canvas and be painting, but I know it's gonna be terrible if I do. It's gonna look
yeah.
terrible if I do. So that blocks me too, like wanting it to be good.
Mm, I know the exact same feeling.
Damn. But I'd be
Uh,
interested in having access to those musics if they're online somewhere.
yeah, I can send you the SoundCloud page. I haven't put anything on there for a while, but
So
some of
down
what I
in the
made
description,
on
I'll
there.
put the YouTube channel and the SoundCloud channel.
Sure, you
And
can do that. Don't expect much from the SoundCloud page though. Like I'm probably not gonna put anything up there as well. So, but
yeah, it doesn't matter.
it's
Like to
cool because
me,
if you,
like the YouTube channel, there are maybe I don't know 15 videos there. But to me, just it has helped me. It has really nourished me. And I keep telling people that you're my favorite YouTubers of all times. And when sometimes they see the page, they're like, "This is a small YouTube channel." So, and I actually sent your videos to a guy who's got 150,000 subscribers, asking for an interview like
wow,
this. And I said, "Oh, you know, For instance, the next ones are with that guy and that guy who's my favorite YouTuber, and I posted your channel. I don't know who's gonna look at it, but
Cool.
I invite everyone
Okay.
watching this video to go look at the channel, The Truth of Nico, or formerly Not Knowing Land, because I think on YouTube it's easier to find it with the previous name, Not Knowing Land. It's just awesome.
I don't know. The YouTube algorithm is way beyond my understanding.
Mm. All right, so thank you, Nico, for accepting that interview, for having that talk of randomness, and
Thank you.
yeah, I felt good. Thank you very much for having been here. Any last
Yeah,
word,
thank you very much.
final word that you would want to share?
I feel lighter.
Cool. All right.
Mm.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you soon. Have a good day.